I took two things that I love, dancing and dogs, and I made them into a
Alrighty. Hello and welcome in everybody to another episode of the Full Send Half Mast podcast. Tonight, episode 97, we are going to be doing our NASCAR Cup Series driver grades for the 2024 season. I'm excited to break it down for you guys and give each driver, full-time driver, their moment in the spotlight as we grade them here tonight. It's going to be fun. I'm so excited to bring this content with you guys. We did this last year. It was a ton of fun. Unfortunately, everybody else was unable to make it here tonight, so I'll be doing my version of it here tonight for you guys with the grades. And so I hope you guys enjoy. But first off, I do want to start with some news because there's a lot of news to cover here early in this podcast over the last week. Uh, that has happened, and I want to talk about it. We're getting into the off season where all this news keeps hitting us, and all these big driver rumors and team switches. It's just I love the silly season in motorsports, and we're at full wrap here. First off, though, I do want to start off with Kyle Busch is going to be running in the Chili Bowl in 2025. I am super excited for this. Um, we already announced that we're gonna do the watch party for the Chili Bowl. The whole alphabet soup, probably all day Chili Bowl Saturday. I'm planning on doing a full probably 3 4 hour streams back to back to back, or maybe 2 6 hour streams. It just depends on how we're gonna lay it all out. But go through the alphabet soup, and it'll be fun to see Kyle Busch when he gets his opportunity. Obviously, watch him in the prelim nights on Monday through Friday, whatever night he gets assigned to. It's gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be super fun to watch. There's hints at maybe even SVG. We've talked about that. Maybe running the Chili Bowl. I'm excited to see what comes from this and see how he could do. I mean, this is gonna be a big time challenge, I believe, for him. He did post a video the other day of him testing his the midget car at some speedway somewhere. I don't remember what speedway it was, but trying to find speed, trying to find pace. I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do. I mean, he's gonna be going against like the top of the top um expectations. I think there's you'd put zero expectations on him in this race. I think if he can get into like a G or an H main, I think that would be a success. I mean, shoot, even if he could get towards like a C main, I think that would be a win, honestly. So I'm super excited. And to go along with that, Joe Gibbs also announced that they've lifted the dirt rule, I guess, is what I would call it the Christopher Bell rule. But now they're bringing in Briscoe. into the folds there at Joe Gibbs Racing. So now they're gonna let their Cup drivers go run dirt races. So do we see Chase Briscoe run the Chili Bowl again? I think so. I think that's an opportunity as well. Christopher Bell make a return, triumphant return to the Chili Bowl. Oh, that'd be fun to watch too. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. might be running it. We know Larson won't because he's going to be in Australia. I believe Rico Abreu's going to be up in Australia as well, so I don't think we'll see those characters. But might see a lot of Cup drivers this year running the Chili Bowl. I'm excited to see how all of that plays out. It's gonna be fun. We're only a couple months away from the Chili Bowl, and I just love the Chili Bowl. I think it's one of the most truest form of racing there is. I mean, the small little bowl there in Tulsa. I mean, what is it? 7 days straight of racing on top of the practice sessions that they get the day before, or on what, Saturday the week before. I mean, it's just so much fun. All the prelim nights and all the anticipation. Every pass for every position is so important as you get through the weekend or the whole week into the weekend. It's so much fun. I'm excited to see Kyle Busch run. Maybe Briscoe. Maybe we'll get Christopher Bell in there as well. Should be fun. Also, Parker Retzloff is out at Jordan Anderson Racing. This is a big rip. Vendetta against Parker Retzloff? I don't know. I'm excited to see where he goes, though. I don't know. Where does his opportunities for him? If he brings sponsorship, maybe an opportunity at another manufacturer. I don't know if Chevy's going to allow him to drive. Even if he took money to Junior, I don't know if that they would let him have that opportunity. It's kind of sad. I think it's a little bit of conspiracy there, especially considering what happened there at Talladega in the Cup race, or I mean Daytona at the Cup race with Kyle Busch not pushing him to the victory. So that's too bad. I mean, I felt like he was starting to finally get it figured out, get the confidence, get the experience, and then he's gone just like that. Just happens. That's motorsports for you. Also, oh, I'm super excited for this. I wish Tom was here to talk about this too, because this is super exciting news. Louis Foster, man, he's gonna be driving for RLL, Rahal Letterman Lanigan, and IndyCar in 2025 in the number 45 machine. Oh, I'm so excited. He's replacing Christian Lundgaard, who's obviously going over to Arrow McLaren. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I think this is the move that Rahal Letterman Lanigan needed. They needed to find themselves a young race car driver that they can build upon for the future, because we don't know how long Rahal's going to be there. That 30 car's been a rotating clock of drivers for so long. They thought they had it in Lundgaard. He's not going to be there. Yuri Vips, I believe he's got a lot of talent. I'm a huge Yuri Vips guy. I think he's someone that could definitely jump in and succeed. But does he get the opportunity in the 30 car next year? I don't know if that's confirmed or not yet. But I'm excited. Louis Foster, take the scholarship money from the Indy NXT Championship. Give him a good rookie year where he can learn. I think what the thing with Louis Foster is he's got pace right away, and I think that's going to be huge. Maybe honing some of the racecraft, because we saw it last year in the Indy NXT. Not 24, but I'm talking about 2023. We saw that he had a lot of issues with race management or being able to with racecraft, and I think that really hurt him. And in that season in particular, I think he honed a lot of his racecraft. He's got a lot of speed, and that's something that really showed in 2023 in particular, the speed that he had. I'm excited to see what they could do if they could build on it. He's improved on ovals immensely. I believe he's a threat on any street course they go to. He's super fast. It's just going to be getting into the grind of IndyCar and how competitive and tough that series is, and I'm excited to see what he could do. I really am. Also, out of Pratt Miller in 2025 LMP2, they're going to pick up James Rowe, who was in the NXT last year, and then Pietro Fittipaldi as well will be in the lineup there. I don't think it's a great and strong lineup per se, but I'm excited. Pratt Miller, LMP2. There was hints at them maybe going with Cadillac when they're stepping away from Ganassi. It looks like Joda's got all that sports. We'll talk about that in a minute. But they found a home in LMP2, and I'm excited. LMP2 last year was one of the most entertaining classes on the entire grid if you watched any IMSA races. I mean, LMP2 was an absolute charm. They ran the One World Endurance Championship race, obviously, at Le Mans. That was kind of a crap show there for the LMP2 cars. I mean, if you guys watched that race, it was an LMP2 disaster. I mean, it felt like nobody wanted to win that race. But in IMSA, every single race for LMP2 and IMSA, I mean, we had so many different winners, so much parity, great racing, lots of shenanigans, everything you want to see out of a top prototype class. And I'm excited that Pratt Miller is now going to throw their name in the ring there and see if they can compete for an LMP2 championship. I'm excited. I can't wait for the IMSA season to come back around. I can't wait for the World Dirt Championship season to come around. And that's what we're going to be talking about next with a lot of this silly season stuff. First off, Meyer Shank, they are making their return to IMSA. Super excited about it with Acura. Oh, I'm super excited about it. But they're bringing in Felix Rosenquist, Scott Dixon, Scott Blomqvist, and Colin Braun. Uh, Rosenquist with on the obviously with the endurance side of things, Dixon as well. But Blomqvist and Brown, man, I'm excited to see what they could do. Man, Colin Brown has been uh, on the hiatus all for 2024. Obviously, he was with Meyer Shank, then they shut down, kind of left him rideless. I'm glad that they stayed loyal to him, and he stayed loyal to them as well, and they had that everything comes full circle. I think they're a legitimate threat next year for this IMSA championship in GTP. Uh, I, I'm excited for it. Tom Blomqvist, Colin Brown. I don't think you can get a better lineup for that for the full season. I think they're going to be extremely competitive. Acura, now that Wayne Taylor Racing is left Acura, I think that most of the all of the technical support that they get from Acura is going to go straight to Meyer Shank. I'm excited. I'm super excited for this. I think I mean we'll get into it later with another podcast about our preseason favorites and breaking down the IMSA World Endurance Championship seasons. But right now in the IMSA series, I am looking at this Meyer Shank team to be uh, most likely the favorite to claim the title here in 2025. We know how good Porsche is. We talked about their lineups a few weeks ago with their IMSA and World Endurance Championship lineups. There was a lot of good stuff on there, but there was some questionable stuff on there. So I don't know how I feel about it just yet. We'll definitely break that down for you in a full podcast here in a few more weeks. You know, when we get towards the end of the F1 season, we want to wrap up the F1 season on a high as well. So we're going to focus a lot on F1 over the next few weeks, but definitely want to touch on the IMSA GTP lineup there with Meyer Shank. Also, with Meyer Shank and GTP, we got Plo, Vandersander, and Yellowly also lined up in the Meyer Shank GTP number 93 car for next year. Plo obviously for the endurance rounds. Vandersander and Yellowly will be the primary drivers, like Blomqvist and Braun are for the number 60 car. It's not as strong as the other lineup. It isn't. I do have a lot of respect for Vandersander, but he has done a lot of clownish things over the last few years that have really left me questionable about him. Is he an A grade driver, top notch, can definitely put this team on his back and carry him to a championship? Yes. But is he also the same type of driver that will lose you a championship by doing some things? That is also a yes. So I don't know how I feel about that one yet. We'll have to see it play out. Yellowly moving over from BMW. I guess that's a good pick. I mean, if we were here a year ago, right now, if I was sitting here a year ago, I would have said, where's Connor DeFelipe? But this year, what the hell happened to Connor DeFelipe? Obviously, he's the BMW crown and jewel, pride and joy there. Tom said it multiple times. His dog must have died or something because that's the way he drove. That's the way he acted all year last year. It was just a pedestrian Connor DeFelipe. Yellowly has been mid at best. And I think this team's definitely going to be the second tier team. Obviously, they're the second car, but do they win a race? I don't know. I don't know. Is there going to be enough out of Vandersander to put this team on his back and carry him? Is he not going to have the mistakes? I don't know how I feel about this lineup. I'm excited for Plo though. Plo going to be making us the endurance rounds. That's going to be awesome, especially at Rolex 24. I'd put this team on watch there for that race. As Plo has been really improving with the sports car stuff. And if you guys remember the 24-hour Le Mans, he was leading some laps there late. I mean, through strategy, but they were still in contention when they got down to the final couple hours. So I would like to see what they could do at the Rolex. I'm so excited for the Rolex 24, guys. You don't even know. I'm so excited for the sports car season. And with that, I do got to talk about Jota. They've announced their driver lineup for the World Endurance Championship. We all know that they're getting the Cadillac support moving forward into 2025. For one car, they're bringing in Alex Lynn, Earl Bamber, Sebastian Bourdais. I think that is a dream team. And then the second team ain't no slouch either. They're bringing in Stevens Nato and Jensen Button as well. So, Steven, I get a shout out to Steven. He sent me a message the other day after we posted this news on the Discord. He said, Jota is the championship favorite in the World Endurance Championship. If they don't win it, I mean, that's basically a complete bust of a season. And I have to tend to agree with him on this one because not only are you getting all of the Cadillac support, you're bringing in 6 of the best drivers in sports car racing, period. And we know Toyota with the BOP issues. What is going to happen to Ferrari next year? We no idea. Porsche kind of got away with a lot of lax BOPs last year as well. What are they going to have happen to them? And we've talked about their lineup. I don't think it's as strong as it was in 2024. Can they go back to back? That's yet to be seen. I feel like they got the title now. I think the one thing left on their resume there for Porsche and with Roger Penske, they want to win that 24-hour Le Mans. I think that's really the last step on the totem pole there for him. So how much do they put emphasis on the whole season if they're just going to maybe focus on just preparing that car and the team just for Le Mans? I have to agree. I think like I said with the number 60 MSR team and GTP, I think that either one of these teams, more specifically the number 12 team with Lynn, Bamber, and Bourdais, I think that team has got to be your championship favorite. I mean, Alex Lynn is an absolute Chad behind the wheel, finds pace. Bamber is like your nighttime stint driver, old reliable. He's gonna get it done. He showed it at Le Mans. He was super impressive during the nighttime hours to keep them in contention there. With Lynn and then Pillow obviously taking some of the later stints. And then Bourdais, which he's basically a do-it-all. He can qualify the car, qualify really good. So can Alex Lynn. Alex Lynn's a really good qualifier as well, but Bourdais can do it all. I mean, wherever they need to plug him in at, and any of these stints, Bourdais is the man to do it. I think that team could definitely be your championship favorite going into 2025. And then your second team with Stevens, Nato, and Button. I think this is a great lineup as well. Button's very experienced. He's kind of like the Bourdais of this team. I would say Nato's more like your Alex Lynn of the team. He's going to be really good at qualifying. He's going to be more of your early stint guy, maybe the early hour stints guy. And then Stevens, obviously, he's kind of like the Earl Bamber of the group. He's going to be more that consistent glue guy. He's going to be able to do the nighttime stints, the harder stints during the challenging parts of the race, the middle stints. I think this team can also compete for the championship. It's World Dirt Championship is going to be nuts next year. I'm telling you. I can't wait to get into that podcast, break all this down with you guys here in a couple of weeks. It's going to be absolutely thrilling. We'll go over all the driver lineups again. We'll give you our predictions on who's going to win. Maybe some BOPs that get announced, all the sports car news that's going to be related to 2025, and the schedule. We'll go over the schedules for IMSA as well as World Dirt Championship. It's going to be absolutely bananas next year. We, excuse me, we are in the golden age of sports car racing in the world, and it just gets better and better. It just gets better and better, and more people are tuning in and watching it, dude. That's the coolest part. People are starting to buy into this amazing racing. Like, F1 this year has been great. Don't get me wrong, but it hasn't been great consistently for a while, and a lot of people that are F1 fans are starting to tune into World Endurance Championship races, even IMSA races, even some of them are dabbling in IndyCar. I mean, there's like lots of great racing going on, and people are tuning in. And sports car racing, I think, is the top echelon of all racing. The endurance factor, the having to drive through slower traffic or having to navigate through the slower traffic, or being the slower traffic and having faster cars navigate through you. The different strategies that get played, where the full course yellows lie at certain parts of the race could change lineup, and having to pass more cars or having better track position. It's bananas. It's bananas, and you never know what's going to happen. You could throw weather into it. I mean, it's the best racing in the world, and I'm super super excited for the 2025 season, man. It's going to be so much fun. All right. Also, one more note here I got two more parts that I want to talk about. First off, Arrow McLaren has decided to part ways with their team principal, Gavin Ward. Again, just more Zach Brown clownery. I don't understand what this guy did to be in a fireable position, or they say mutually parted ways, but whenever they say that, do you really think it was mutually parting ways? It's never that way, dude. They might have left on some okay terms, but you know that they fired him. They canned him. You can't even sugarcoat that. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully he finds a home somewhere else. Maybe RLL. I think they could use a lot of help. We'll see how that all plays out. We'll keep you posted if we hear anything on that. And then also the news released today. Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece with Kroger. They're going over to RFK next year in 2025 full time in the number 60 car. I don't have any expectations. Absolutely zero. I was really high on Ryan Preece a few years ago. Especially when he was like in the 37 for JTG. I thought he was on to something doing good, but he is just absolutely tanked. I don't know if it's an SHR problem. I don't know if it was a Ford problem. I don't know if it was a him problem adjusting to these cars. I don't know what it was. But this is a definite step up. This is probably the best opportunity he's ever had in NASCAR, without a shadow of a doubt. RFK has been really good over the last couple of years. They've really improved. We'll talk about it with driver grades, especially with Chris Buescher. Was super consistent all season long. Can Ryan Preece, with all the sponsorship, the backing that he has, good team, lots of data, could this be the move that propels him to being a contender for the playoffs in 2025? I don't know. We'll find out. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. We'll have to figure out and see what happens. But good for him. Good for him. I think it's also good for RFK to expand to 3 cars. It's gonna be cool to see more Roush cars on the racetrack. Having another set of data to go on, having full sponsorship on this car. It's a win all the way across the board for everybody. Now we just got to put the results to the table, and we'll see how that all plays out. Alrighty. One second here. Make sure I got everything in order. Alrighty. I think it's time. Talked about the news. It's time to go over NASCAR Cup Series driver grades for 2024. I was working on this week. I got a whole, I don't know if you can see it. I've got a whole thing of copious notes here to go over with you guys here tonight. So we'll just begin at the top. I don't know. I just had a lot of time, a lot of thinking on this, so I'm excited to bring this to you. Let's start off with the NASCAR champion, Joey Logano. I'm gonna give him his 2024 season. I'm gonna give him a B+. And I really don't have to go too much in explaining this. He was really mid all season long. He was right there about 20th at one time, 20 something in the points, climbed up to about 15, 16-ish, ran about 18, 19. Really was not a great consistent season for a champion. He had 4 wins, and they all came in the clutch of the season. I think that's why I'm going to put his grade a little higher. Without the championship and without some of those clutch wins, I would have put him at a B. If he didn't make the round of 12, I probably would have put him at a B- or even a C+. But got that fortunate luck with Bowman getting disqualified, moved himself up. I'm going to give him B+. Not great, not bad, mid, claims a championship. There's nothing more to say there. Next one, Ryan Blaney. Oh, man. Last year, I think he was the only one I put at an A+ last year. I'm going to give him an A- this year. I did want to give him an A, but I will give him an A-. And it's really the fact of the beginning of the year wasn't super consistent. It looked a lot like 2023, but a little bit more consistent in 2023. But he really clutched it in the playoffs, survived elimination at the round of 8, got himself to the championship 4. On the season at 18 top 10s. I mean, that is half the races he was in the top 10. The DNFs are a little too high at 7. 12 top 5, so a third of the races in the top 5, half in the top 10. 3 wins, makes it to championship 4. Ryan Blaney. Look at Blaney, man. You're getting an A- in 2024. Next up, William Byron. Oh, man. This one, I'm going to have to give him an A. Not giving him an A+. Not giving him an A+. I don't think he deserves that. I'm going to give him an A. I was thinking of an A-, but I was like, I'm not going to put too much weight on the middle part of that season of 2024. Came out the gates firing on all cylinders, wins at Daytona 500, wins multiple races within the first half of the season, looked like the dominant championship favorite, and it wasn't even close. And then by the end of spring, early summer, all the way until really into the playoffs, just was non-existent. The results were kind of there. I mean, he had 21 top 10s, 13 top 5s over the season, but he didn't feel like William Byron was there. He's kind of pedestrian. But he did make the championship 4, did have a consistent season, maybe a little asterisk next to his championship 4 appearance, thanks to Chevy, but I think he deserves an A. Dominant early, faded late, or faded in the middle, surged late. I'll give him an A. Next, Tyler Reddick. I got 2 drivers with an A+ rating. This is one of them. Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick had a career season this year, and with all the distractions and everything happening around that program, the new race shop, the adjustment in the second year racing for 2311 with the charter agreement background, the looming inevitability of whatever's going to come from that. To be able to not only win the regular season championship, being that consistent. Yes, a lot of those races he should have won, didn't get the job done. 21 top 10s, 12 top 5s, regular season championship, made it to the championship 4, not a strong track for him. The resilience, the win at Homestead was a key moment in there as well. At Talladega, with losing all of his teammates, being able to get that win. Just a fantastic season by Tyler Reddick. A+ standard, I believe, on his scale. Career year for Tyler Reddick. A+. Next one, my final A+ driver of the year. This is going to go to Christopher Bell. He was 100% the most consistent driver all season long, without a shadow of doubt. 23 top 10s. All but 13 races, he was in the top 10. He had 6 DNFs. I mean, a little high, but out of those 13 races that he didn't finish top 10, 6 of them were DNFs. So there's only 7 races that if he did not wreck out, he was not going to get top 10. Unbelievable. 15 top 5s. 3 victories, and all of his victories were basically dominant performances. Fantastic season. I mean, Christopher Bell, in any other format besides the one we have now, Christopher Bell is your champion. What an exceptional year. It stinks. You're going to have to come back and fight back for it again next year. But Christopher Bell, you deserve an A+. You were an absolute Chad this year, and you were robbed of a championship. Next, I'm going to go Kyle Larson. I'm going to give Kyle Larson a B+. All hung money, man. All hung money. Oh, too many hung money moments this year. How many races he could have won or should have dominated, he couldn't get the job done. Hung money. I mean, we say this, we can do it now, but we're going to look back 10, 15, 20 years down the line, and we're going to look back at Kyle Larson's career and be like, man, this guy should have won 500 races and 85 championships and every Nobel Peace Prize on the planet of Earth and everything to go with it. I mean, should have been the king of everybody. I mean, it's unbelievable. The amount of races he's choked away in his career. He had five DNFs, which surprised me. I thought it would have been more, but he led the most laps on the season with 1,700. 11 stage wins. I mean, he was just really good. I just can't give him an A rating. That's why I gave him the highest B I could give him. It's just too many hung money moments. This is a year that he should have and easily could have won this championship. Got robbed a race and still was almost able to win the regular season championship. But then you look at the bad side. There's just so much ups and downs with Kyle Larson this year. I'm going to give him a B+. Chase Elliott. Oh, I'm going to give him a B. He's the most forgettable driver of this entire season. I mean, out of the guys that competed for the championship, he had that one win at Texas, had 19 top 10s, 11 top 5s, 2 DNFs, 431 laps led, 2 stage ones. I mean, he was just there. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. If it wasn't for his fans, we would have not known he was on the racetrack. Let's just leave it at that. I'm giving him a B. Flat B. Next is old Dickie Hamlin. I'm giving him a B-. I'm not going to give him a C or anything like that. I'm not giving him an A. I'm going to give him the lowest B I can give him because what is the one objective Denny Hamlin had this season? Championship or bust. He busted, man. He is an absolute fraud. Dickie Hamlin can't do anything right. He is not going to get a grade. I'm giving him the lowest B I can give him. I feel like that's deserving. You can fight me with that in the comment section, you Denny Hamlin, Hicklin, Dicklin fans. Yeah. Just what a failure. What an absolute colossal failure. Fell apart in the playoffs. Yeah, championship or bust at this point in his career. I don't care if he wins 42 races and 18 stages next year. I mean, I know it's impossible, but you know what I mean. Yeah, you can win everything next year. If he doesn't win the title, it's a bust. Failure. Next is Alex Bowman. I'm going to give him a solid B. Really was consistent all year. I mean, if you look at the standings, he was inside the top 10 basically all year in the standings. Only had that one win at Chicago. Had 17 top 10s, 8 top 5s, 4 DNFs. He only led 67 laps, only 1 stage win. Nothing flashy, just a consistent 10th place driver all year long. And that's really what he is. I mean, at this point, had a phenomenal playoffs though. That's kind of gonna give him that B for me instead of a B-. The consistency in the playoffs was unreal. Him and Bell were the 2 most consistent drivers throughout the duration of the playoffs. If he doesn't get disqualified at the Roval, who knows? We could have saw Bowman in the championship 4. He was just having that good of a championship run. So I'm going to give him a B on the season for that. Next, I'm going to give Martin Truex Jr. a B minus. Nothing spectacular. It's his final season. His head definitely wasn't in the game. James Small and him were not arguing like they normally do. That's a bad sign. Really was never a factor to win any race besides that one Richmond race that they stole from him. But congratulations, Truex, on a fantastic career. Definitely a Hall of Famer. Somebody that I'm excited to see him run the Daytona 500 next year if that still happens. Maybe he'll run another 2 or 3 races. I don't want him to stain his legacy like old JJ Jimmy Johnson does, but what a fantastic career for Truex. B minus on the season, but A plus on a career, man. All right, next is Austin Cindric. I'm gonna give him a B plus. And you guys probably think, that's a little too high for Cindric, but in his standards, man, this is the best season he's ever had. I mean, he wins the race in New Hampshire, granted on fuel strategy there with his teammate running out. He only had 7 top 10s, 4 top 5s. What did it? 256 laps led, 4 stage wins. I mean, nothing's jumping off the sheet with you here, but it's Austin Cindric we're talking about. When has he ever been that guy in the Cup Series? I think there's a career year for him. Maybe it's something to build on for 2025. We see how good Penske is at these short ovals. Maybe he can learn something, get some more data, learn from his 2 teammates who've just been absolutely dominating these short, flat ovals. Maybe he could build on this for 2025. I would say, for Austin Cindric standards, this is a B plus season for him. All right, next is Daniel Suarez. I'm giving him a B minus. Only reason I'm giving him I was giving him the lowest B I can, and I had to give him a B because of the fact that he did make the playoffs. He won a race at the Atlanta. Cool. Good for you, man. And I don't think you actually won that race, to be honest with you. It didn't show it, but you won it. You made it to what? I think you made it to what, the round of 12. Congratulations, I guess. Who? I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, whatever. B minus. We're done talking about it. All right, next is Brad Keselowski. I'm gonna give him a B. Made the playoffs. That's a big step up improvement. He won a race at Darlington. They're building. They're building over there. He had 14 top 10s this season, 9 top 5s, 1 stage win, 318 laps led. I think it's a solid year for Brad Keselowski. Something to build on. As he's now exiting his prime of his career, I think for him to have the season he had, I think that deserves a B. Good job for Brad Keselowski. We'll see what you can do in 2025. Briscoe. I'm going to give him a B minus as well. Just a lot, like I said, with Suarez. Really, the only shining light of his whole season was that amazing win at Darlington. And maybe I'm putting at the Southern 500. Maybe I'm putting too much stock in that Southern 500 win. But that is a really freaking hard race to win. And you don't just fluke into a Southern 500 win. That is the toughest race in all of stock car racing to win in the world. And he did it. I mean, he didn't just do it. I mean, he did it, man. He dominated. He had to hold off Kyle Busch at the end of that race. I put a lot of stock into that, especially with a dying team, a dead team. I mean, it was lifeless at times. I mean, you were looking for defibrillators at points of this season for that team, and for them to kind of rally behind him for that one race and be able to lock himself into the playoffs, that was a big moment for him. So, congratulations, Chase Briscoe. You're gonna B minus on the season. We'll see what you do in Gibbs equipment next year. All right, next is Ty Gibbs. I do want to read some of his stats off first, though. 12 top 10s, 8 top 5s, 417 laps led, 2 stage wins. I'm sorry, but you're getting a C+. I mean, you were just an absolute disappointment this year in so many ways. I mean, me and Tom we're so high on you in the offseason. We thought you would win races this year. You would compete for the round of 12, maybe even the round of 8 with the team you're with. The experience you have, the skill and talent that we know you have, but you just absolutely failed to deliver this year on all expectations that we had. And for that, I'm giving you the highest C I can give you. I'll give you a C+. I just can't. My expectations for you next year are going to be really low. So go and prove me wrong. All right, next is Harrison Burton. I'm giving him a flat C. Because for Harrison Burton, terrible season. I mean, he was in the bottom 30s in points. Somehow sneaks a win out at Daytona to clinch himself in the playoffs. The showing how stupid this format is. But you did it. You did it. And I've been saying there's not that many drivers of the Cup Series that could win. I've argued with people in Nexus about over this, especially with Steven. Steven says anybody and any day can win in the Cup Series, and I believe him now. I believe him now. And Burton and LaJoie were the two names I would always throw out. Like, those guys would never win. They could never win. Well, I'd eat crow when Burton won at Daytona. If it wasn't for this damn playoffs and him locking himself in, that would have been a freaking awesome moment. But it just gets so overshadowed by the fact that we have a playoff system. We could have been talking about how Harrison Burton wins this amazing race, and we just never got to experience that for him. That's unfortunate. But the only top 5 he had all season long was his win. One of the 2 top 10s he had all season long was his win. Terrible. 13 laps led, 7 DNFs. I mean, just terrible. Just garbage. C. I'll give you a C. Putting a lot of weight on that Daytona win, I guess. Alrighty, next one is Busher. Ooh, I've bounced around and around and around on this one, man. It's hard to judge this one because he was super consistent this year. I had 15 top 10s, 6 top 5s. He had that win at Watkins Glen, 208 laps led, 3 stage wins, only 2 DNFs. What a fantastic job Busher did this season. I initially had him at a C+. I think I'm going to give him a B. I'm not going to lie. I think he deserves a B. Super consistent this year. I think Busher is somebody that could contend for. I mean, we had early season expectations. We were like, yeah, he's gonna make the playoffs. Shoot, he can make the round of 8, maybe even championship 4 if he can get there. I mean, those expectations didn't happen. But other than that, he did everything else he needed to do. He just got screwed by the playoff system, just like Christopher Bell. So I give Christopher Bell the A+ because obviously he made it that far into the playoffs, robbed of the title. But I think Busher was one of the next 5 consistent drivers all season long. He deserves a B. Even though he didn't make the playoffs, even though he only won 1 race, I think he deserves it. All right, the next one on my list is Bubba Wallace. Bubba. I'll give you a C+. You missed the playoffs, man. You can't do that. You can't be missing the playoffs, man. I understand that a lot of it had to do with the damn playoff system and the format, but you just don't put yourself in that situation, man. Just go win a race. Just go win a race. That's all it takes. Just go win one. And you just couldn't do it. And I was high on you, man. I thought you could definitely do what you did last year again this year and maybe even make it further in the playoffs. You didn't even make them, dude. C+. Oh, it's disappointing. Next one is Chastain. I'm giving us flat C. And I know we had that win at Kansas way late in the season where it didn't matter anymore. But again, like I said with Bubba, I think he had a way worse season than Bubba. He just was not consistent at all this year. Chastain, it's like they neutered the man. Like after all the shenanigans the first couple of years in his Cup career with running people over and being aggressive and going for race wins, it's like they just took that away from him. He just doesn't have that it factor anymore. He looks pedestrian most Sundays. It's just, I hate it. And I think they've completely neutered this man. And that's why I'm giving him a C. He got that win. Cool. But I just don't think you're warranted for anything higher than a C, man. It just wasn't a good year. Ah, Kyle Busch, KFB. Oh, Rowdy Nation. I'm giving you a C-, dude. Abysmal 2024. Misses the playoffs. Doesn't win a race. Breaks streaks left and right. I mean, unbelievable. If you were to tell me 5 years ago Kyle Busch would have not made the playoffs or won a race in the entire season, I would have thought you were lying. I would have thought you were a jokester. I would have laughed at you, made fun of you. But it happened. It happened. And he had so many opportunities to do it. I mean, you look back at the Darlington race, finished P2. You look back at Daytona. Just wasn't able to hang on for that win either. There's just so many moments in this season that you just look back on and you're like, gosh. I even thought he could win the Daytona 500 this year. I was obviously wrong on that one. Kyle Busch, man. Hopefully you go out and have a good Chili Bowl, get the momentum rolling, and then 2025 becomes your year again. But C-. Just, that's sad. I mean, he had 10 top 10s, 5 top 5s, 229 laps led, but I mean, he was just pedestrian all year. It's just sad. All right, next is old Carson Hocevar. I'm giving him a B plus, man. What a rookie season he had. I mean, wasn't consistent in the playoffs, or I mean, you look at his stats and nothing jumps off the table at you. He's got 10 or 6 top 10s, 1 top 5, 16 laps led, only 2 DNFs in a rookie season. I think he did a fantastic job this year. I really do. I think Carson Hocevar is going places. I would like to say Casey Kane-esque in his rookie season. That's kind of what it felt like. He ran top 10 in a lot of races, was right there fringe top 10, had so many breakout moments that just didn't get the result at the end, but had the pace. I think what that leads to is experience and racecraft. He's going to figure that out. That's coming. This guy is going to be a future NASCAR championship contender without a shadow of my doubt in my mind. I think he's only 20 years old. This dude's going to do things in NASCAR. And for winning Rookie of the Year, having the best rookie season, most consistent, unbelievable by Carson Hocevar. 21st in points, and he was higher than a few of those guys ahead of him, like Cindric, Briscoe, Gibbs. I think by the end of the year, he probably was better than him. Burton, obviously. I think he did a fantastic job in his rookie season. B plus for Hocevar. Hosen Carcevar. All right, next is Todd Gillen. C minus, absolute disappointment this year. I had him picked to win a race in the offseason. Didn't even get close, it really felt like. 4 top 10s. That's all. 130 lap sled, which is most of them, I think, were that one Atlanta race. Just disappointment. I think he's got a lot of talent. I'm still pulling for him. I think he's a good dude. I think he's a good race car driver, but damn. It was disappointment. It felt like he took a step back this year. Michael McDowell. I'm also going to go C minus on him as well. Right there in points with his teammate. They were only separated by 6 points by the end of the year. He had 7 top 10s, 2 top 5s, 256 laps led with 1 stage win. Other than the poles this year, McDowell had nothing in the races. Absolutely nothing. He had a record career of poles. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was like on the pole on every single race, it felt like. It was insane. But other than that, I mean, come race day Sunday, he was nowhere to be found. It's sad. Unfortunate. We'll see what he can do when he moves over to Spire with Hocevar next year. See if he can improve on that. Next is Lyle Gregson. I'm giving him a flat C, like right in the middle of the road. Flat C. Wasn't spectacular. Wasn't making a clown or a fool of himself. I think C fits old Lyle perfectly this year. He had 6 DNFs, 7 top 10s, 1 top 5, 13 laps led. It was a Lyle year. He didn't turn. Lyle's landing didn't see him coming this year. That was good news. Didn't get in a fight. Didn't have any stupid haircuts. That's what you want to see from old Lyle. Moving over to front row next year. Let's see if he can take a step forward. Excuse me. Next one is Ricky Spinhouse Jr. Old SpongeBob Shorts man. I'll give him same with Gregson. I'll give him a flat C. Got that win at Dega. I don't put a lot of stock into a Dega win, but he did win a race. He had 6 top 10s, 3 top 5s, 7 DNFs. Not as good as last year, by far. 28 laps led. Maybe I should have went C minus on this. I'm gonna stick with C. He did because of the win at Talladega. I think he deserves that, but he did make himself look like a clown this year several times. So, I'll just give him a C. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, whatever. We'll just give him a C. Next is Ryan Preece. We just talked about him moving over to RFK. This year, though, I'm going to give him a D+. Yeah, D+. 5 DNFs, 5 top 10s, 1 top 5, 2 laps led. Non-existent. Dying team. No will or fight left in him. D+. There's just nothing there. There's no meat on the bones. Next is Josh Berry. Oh, Barry. Oh, man. What a terrible season this guy had. Unbelievable. He had 1 stage win, 96 laps led. Most of them, I think, were at that Daytona race right before the playoffs. 10 DNFs. Oh, Barry. Most DNFs in NASCAR this year, I believe. Maybe behind LaJoy. No. He had more DNFs than LaJoy. Oh, Barry. Man, maybe I'm being generous with the D. Yeah, I am. I'm going to give you a D-. Officially changing my notes over here. You're going to D-, man. 10 DNFs, bro. Come on, man. What the hell are you doing? 4 top 10s, 2 top 5s, Good luck, Wood Brothers, man. You're going from Burton, who barely can win a race at Daytona, to Barry or Barry, bro. Like, come on. How many B's alliteration am I going to have to say here? Yeah, that a terrible, terrible decision there. Garbage. Trash. All right. Eric Jones. I'm going to give him a D. Let's see his stats. 3 DNFs, 2 top 10s, 1 top 5, 0 laps led, 0 stage wins. Just, he was there. D. He was just there. Tom says this all the time, and I'm really starting to agree. Every time Petty goes to 2 cars, they always tank. They fall off a deep end. And I think that's a lot of it's playing into this Eric Jones thing. The switch to Toyota, Jimmy Johnson, Maury Gallagher throwing tons of money at this team, and they just don't have the results. They don't have the speed. It's just bad. D for Eric Jones. All right, this could be the worst grade on the entire books here, but Daniel Hemrick is next with an F- on the season. 15 laps led, 3 DNFs, 4 top 10s, and that's it. And a lot of it just goes to some of the mediocre clownery that he did this whole season. He was so forgettable. I mean, it was absolutely unbelievable. So goodbye, good riddance out of the Cup Series, and that moment at Talladega when you absolutely rode the wall to miss everybody and still collected the wreck, that will live on in infamy. All right. Next is Zane Smith. I'm gonna give him a D-. He was never consistent or good all year long. It shows in the points. He had 6 laps led, 5 DNFs, 4 top 10s, 2 top 5s. He was just not even there, not even close to the standard that Hocevar set as a rookie season. Yeah, I don't put any stock in Zane Smith. There's a reason why he's not getting re-signed. Maybe rushed him up way too well. Obviously, he ran a couple seasons in trucks, never got into Xfinity at all. Rushed him straight to Cup. Doesn't have the success. Doesn't have really that bright of a future, in my opinion. I don't think he's a top prospect. D-. Just disappointment. Excuse me. Next is Justin Haley. I'm gonna give him a flat C. Most of the reason for that is because when he was in the 51 car earlier this season, he was running really consistent. He was really kind of turning heads, looking like he was going to be the next best Ford prospect. Maybe a guy that could potentially jump into a third RFK car. And then he moves to the 7. And the curse of the 7 hit him hard. Went non-existent by the end of the year. 30 laps led, 3 DNFs. And I think most of those DNFs they 100% were happening in the 7 car for him. 3 top 10s. Just really lackluster season. The curse of the 7 struck. That's why I'm going to give him a solid C, because I just feel like you can't overlook or forget what he did when he's in the 51, but then you can't also do the same when he was in the 7. So I'm just going to give him a flat C, middle of the pack grade here. Next is who's that? Oh yeah, Austin. What's his name? Austin Dillon. That's who it is. Yeah, I already forgot. Who was I talking about? Oh, that's right. Austin Dillon. F. Garbage. To be honest, I forgot that he was even in the NASCAR Cup Series for really most of the year. It was until the Richmond race when they won that by dumping half the field that I found out that he was there. And then we complained about it for a few weeks, and then he just disappeared again. We never really knew he was out there anymore again. So F. I mean, the most forgettable season, I think. Most forgettable driver of the season, to be honest. I mean, he was just never even in anybody's mind frame at all. I already forgot his name again. I got to look it up again. Oh, Austin Dillon. That's right. Yeah, F. Next is the 42. That is John Hunter Nemechek. Excuse me. Let's see, 60 DNFs, 36 laps led, 4 top 10s. I'm just gonna give him a D-, and a lot with the Eric Jones sentiment. Every time Petty goes to multiple cars, they always struggle and fall off a cliff. I think he's a good driver. He's proven it in the past. He's just bad equipment, bad organization, everything that goes along with it. I think he deserves another shot at the Cup Series. I would like to see that team improve, but as of now, I'm just giving him a D minus. It's too unfortunate. Oh man. Lastly, the final driver on this list, final full time driver. Um, that's gonna be the LaJoy Dozer. Oh man, I was sitting down. I was like, what should I grade this guy? What kind of grade should I give old Corey LaJoy Dozer? And then I just gave up because it just would have been too much of a waste of my time to actually give him a grade. So I'm gonna say he's non-gradable, non-available grade. He's expelled. Good luck at Applebee's. That's if they even want you, because obviously the team you were with didn't want you. The team you're with now doesn't sound like they want you. There's no rumors of you being signed by anybody. I don't even think you're worth stacking pennies over. Maybe pesos. But yeah, it's just a waste of my time to even grade you. I mean, it's just an absolute waste of my time. I mean, you're the only one I know that can flip trying to make a pass. I mean, a joke. So I don't even think McDonald's would hire you, and they're hurting for help. I don't even think they want you. Nobody wants you. You've got this show. That's the only place you fit in. Just keep doing that, so nobody has to watch. Oh yeah, it just wasn't even worth grading you. So yeah, that'll do it. That'll do my driver grades for 2024. If you guys agree, disagree, got some beef, whatever it may be, I want to find out what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think of my grades. Maybe I'm being too harsh on some drivers, being too good for other drivers, but I feel like that's where they respectively should be graded this year, and I don't think there's any other way to look around it. Yeah. So to recap, I got 2 drivers with A pluses. This would be Reddick and Bell. The worst drivers on here is Reddick and Dylan, or Hemrick and Dylan, I mean. And then a lot of middle pack guys, and a lot of C minuses, B's, D's, all over the board, all over the board. Thank God the NASCAR season is over. I never thought in my life I'd say that, but this year has been just terrible. We had some moments. Really, the best races of the year. Bristol, by far. I mean, that's without a question in my mind. I think Homestead was a pretty decent race. Both Kansas races were pretty good. That second Daytona race was freaking awesome. I enjoyed the hell out of that. That's it. I could list the whole the rest of the races basically in the crash, or in the trash tier. So hopefully guys, their eyes are waking up. Maybe we'll get a playoff change next year, who knows. But as far as I'm concerned, the Cup Series is dead to me, and that's the way we wrap out 2024. Good luck to your drivers next year. Good luck to the shenanigans and the race manipulation you are going to see yet again in the old NASCAR Puck Series. Alrighty. Done the recap. All right. We do have a race this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy. We do. Formula One is back at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. I've got it scheduled now on the channel. Doing a watch party this weekend. Be starting somewhere around 1 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday morning. So make sure you guys turn on your notifications. If you guys are going to be up late Saturday night into the Sunday morning hours to watch this race, come and enjoy it with us. We'll have you put the race on one screen, put us on the other, come hang out with us, interact with us in the chat. Should be fun. Maybe have some brewskis. I don't know. Maybe hang out. Maybe interact with the chat. Have some fun times. Make some jokes, whatever it may be. But I'm excited for this race. I went to this race last year in person. It was a freaking awesome race. I think it was the best F1 race of the entire season last year, besides maybe Singapore. Singapore was really good. And Australia, obviously. Australia was really good last year too. But I think Vegas was probably the best race of the season last year. It was such a freaking thriller, roller coaster of emotions. We had that incident early of Max Verstappen into Leclerc, ends up putting him behind the 8 ball there, had to drive, or had that penalty. was still able to drive back and fight for the win. Perez led laps, which is a freaking shocker that ever happened. All the Checo fans in the stands. That was fun to experience. And then obviously Leclerc and having the extremely quick car that he had. The Alpines being able to succeed there at the end, especially with Ocon getting up in the front. Piastri having this tire go down, having to drive back to the field for a solid finish it was impressive to watch. Lando, can't go Lando. Piling that thing into the turn 12 wall was fun to watch as well. And then obviously Sainz having his issues in practice, running over that little sprinkler manhole cover. But what do we see this year around? Well, let's talk about it, right? The World Championship still at play, technically, with Lando Norris still in play for this World Championship over Max Verstappen. Constructors title, it looks like Ferrari and McLaren are probably going to settle this out between them because it doesn't look like Perez is going to be able to help Max Verstappen climb back into this. Perez is a joke. Actually a complete joke, so I wouldn't even count on it. But what have we seen over the last few Grand Prix? We've seen fantastic racing. We've seen fantastic battles, fantastic finishes, lots of drama. I think we're going to see a lot more of it this week. I think Vegas is kind of the new Baku, in my opinion. It's kind of a wild card race. You never know what's going to happen. We saw it last year. We had that big wreck into turn 1, kind of opened the door for guys that qualified in the back. We saw, who was it that qualified in the back? Was it Ocon, Stroll, and was it Sainz? And all of them kind of benefited from that early collision that kind of gained them that track position. I think we could see some more turn 1 shenanigans again this year. Qualifying on pole, I think the Ferraris are the team to watch. I think Tom said this this season already. I think I've said this, but I think Ferrari is going to be the team to beat this weekend, 100% without a doubt in my mind. I think Ferrari is going to qualify up front. They're going to be extremely fast. Their their development program is always geared towards the end of the season. And I think this track really fits those Ferraris. They're super fast on the straight line, and I think that's what's going to take to win at Vegas. Driving down that strip, that's the longest. I think it's the second longest straightaway. Maybe it is the longest straightaway, maybe behind Monza. I think it might be longer than Monza. Extremely fast and important part of the track, and I think that's where Ferrari is going to succeed here. But with that being said, my pick for the win this weekend, I think it's going to be a great battle between Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, all race long. Lots of strategies being played, 50 laps around Vegas. But I think that the Ferraris are going to be able to put a lot of their strategy woes behind them. Optimistic thinking, maybe. I don't know. But I think Ferrari is going to take the fight to the McLarens this weekend. I think it's going to be an exceptional battle. I think Verstappen's still going to be competitive. But I think Charles Leclerc gets redemption from last year. Last year, he made so many mistakes late in that race, particularly battling with Perez, made a mistake, lost time, still fought back to be able to have a chance at Max Verstappen at the end. Was able to pass Perez on the final lap, which was impressive. I think Leclerc is the man to beat this weekend. I think he qualifies this thing on pole. I think he sets the tone early. I think the strategy's there, and I think Leclerc gets the job done. I wish I was there in person this year to watch this race. It would be so much fun. But I think Ferrari is going to get the job done this weekend, and it's going to be Leclerc. I think Sainz is going to be in the podium as well. I think it's going to be a Ferrari podium. I don't think it'll be a sweep, but it's going to be a Ferrari podium, just like how Red Bull did it last year with Perez, Verstappen 1-3. I think it's going to be kind of the same. Leclerc P1, Sainz P3. Who's going to be the guy to finish second? I'm not sure yet. I don't know if it's going to... B can't go Lando. Who knows? Maybe it's Piastri. Maybe it's Verstappen. Maybe one of the Mercedes sneaks in there. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how confident I feel about McLaren going into this race. I think this is the week that Ferrari is going to be able to close that gap on McLaren for that Constructors' Championship. I think Ferrari is in prime to get it. And if you guys remember my bold prediction analysis, Leclerc was going to win 2 Grand Prix. Mission accomplished there. And he was also going to the Ferrari was also going to win the Constructors' Championship. That's still on the table. That bold prediction's still alive. And I think that is going to be a big step here this weekend in the final stretch of the North American or the Western swing of the Formula One schedule here at Vegas. It's going to be a fantastic race. I'm super excited. Dark horse for this weekend. I'm putting too much stock into last year. Maybe I'm putting too much stock into what we saw the last race at Brazil. But I'm watching the Alpines. I really am. This is kind of a home race, I feel like, for Alpine in a sense. A lot of their investors are these big, rich West Coast type people. This is kind of a big time event for them. I feel like this track suits their car really well. Um, and if they could do what they did at Brazil, I think they can duplicate it here again at Vegas. Ocon finished P4 here last year. I think he has a solid chance to get on the podium once again, or fight to get on the podium once again here at Vegas. I think it all comes down to qualifying. Didn't qualify good at last year at all. I think if they can qualify better, we get some more of those drama. Like I said, I feel like Vegas is becoming the new Baku. I feel like this is going to be a wild card race. Anything can happen. We saw it last year with Lewis Hamilton running over the little cone bullock or whatever you Europeans say, and that really hurt his race. We saw uh, Norris drive off into turn 12. That is a very difficult section. That big swooping left hand continuous turn there, heading up towards turn 12 before they get onto the strip. That is a very, very tough section. Extremely tough. You're carrying a lot of speed. It's really narrow. It's kind of blind from one end to the other. You can't see the end of the corner. I feel like that is going to be a spot where we see a lot of drama going around the sphere. There's a lot of passing zones there. Into turn 1's a great passing zone. Into turn 16 before you do the little 16, 17, 18 combo there. That is a great spot as well. Or what is it? No, it's 14, 15, 16. That section. That's going to be a super fun section to watch as well. And then obviously turn 12, getting onto the strip. That is another opportunity. Narrow margins there as well. I'm just super excited. I think this will be a fantastic race. It's going to be an absolute thriller. And I think Ocon is my dark horse pick for this weekend. I'm excited to see what those Alpines can do. Can they back up that Brazil performance? Maybe they're figuring it out late in the season. All right, for my fantasy lineup for this weekend, I'm going to go Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri. I'm not super confident about it, but I'm just going to leave it for now because I don't want to take the hit. I'll put Hulkenberg, Sonoda, and Lawson on there because I feel like all of them have been super consistent this year, and I just don't want to switch it. I really don't. I'm going to ride this till the end of the season. And then for manufacturers, McLaren, I really should switch this out for Ferrari. I really should, but I'm just going to stick with McLaren for now. We'll give them one more chance, and then we'll adjust if we need to for Qatar and for Saudi Arabia. And then I'm going to go Williams, and really purely because of Colapinto. Colapinto is just amazing. I mean, I'm really impressed with Colapinto. There's rumors that he could potentially be going to Red Bull. I don't know. That'd be interesting. But I'll stick with them this weekend. I would like to see what Williams can do. And like I said, watch party on Sunday morning, Saturday late night, Sunday early morning. If you guys are up and about, up and around, doing your thing, watching the race, come join us, man. Come hang out with us. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll be just BSing, watching the race, having a good time. Vegas Grand Prix, man. This is the new wild card in F1. What is going to happen in the World Championship? Is Max Verstappen going to have a bad race? Does he have a good race? Does he able to extend the lead or lose the lead to Lando Norris, or the gap shrink or expand? Constructors, does Ferrari just have one amazing race where they close that gap down to the constructors? We're going to find all that out. This weekend with the Las Vegas Grand Prix. I'm super excited to bring that to you guys on the watch party format, and it should be a lot of fun. Alrighty, guys. I think that's all I have for today. Next week, we'll do, obviously, our recap of the Las Vegas Grand Prix and then preview, obviously, the Qatar Grand Prix, which is the week after, as we're winding down this F1 season. Super exciting stuff. And then, obviously, the week after that, we'll do the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And then our 100th episode actually will lie at the end of the season, the end of the F1 season. If I'm correct, because next week will be episode 98. Should be the recap of Vegas and preview for Qatar. 99 will be the recap of Qatar, preview of Saudi Arabia. 100 will be the finale recap for the Formula One Grand Prix, for the Formula One season. And then we'll do something special to end off the 2024 season. How perfect is that? Our 100th episode is going to lie when the entire season is wrapped up officially with F1 and the final series of the season. I mean, that's perfect. You can't script it any better than that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited now. That's awesome. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Turn on your notifications. Subscribe up if you guys are enjoying this content. Lots of big stuff coming, obviously, in the future. Watch parties for all these final F1 races of the season. So that should be fun. And then obviously we'll have a lot more watch parties. I think even next year in 2025, might even do more watch parties. We might do a poll watch party and then maybe a Dega Boys select watch party. So we'll have you guys do pick one and then we'll pick one that we want to do. So we have 2 each month. We're going to have a lot more fun next year with watch parties. Watch parties is so much fun. And I love interacting with you guys and bringing that content to you guys. So make sure you guys sub up and turn on those notifications. Make sure you guys go follow us on our socials as well. We got X, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon. If you guys want to support us over there, it means the world to us. Everybody that's watching over there on Kick, thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys go leave a follow over there. Lots more content coming on both platforms. So super excited about that. Also, make sure you go look at the link in the description below. We have our Discord link in there as well. If you want to join our Discord to be involved with the greatest racing motorsports community on the internet, to get all of the breaking news, drama, rumors, BDN, BDIC, BDN, BDFIA, whatever moments happen throughout the year, it's all right here on our Discord. Post your own news if you see news that we might not have seen, or any rumors that we might not have seen. We even have short track racing, NHRA stuff. We have dirt track racing, sports car racing, even like international sports car racing stuff that we don't really cover on a weekly basis around here. All of it's on our Discord. Just awesome place, an awesome news feed, awesome place to communicate with others and share your thoughts and ideas of what's going on in motorsports. See all the silly season stuff that's going to be enduring over the next few months, all the schedules and everything for 2025. I'll be having those updated here in the next couple weeks for 2025. Just so much stuff to look forward to in our Discord. It's such a fun place. Come check it out. Also, go check out our merch store. Go get you some Dega Boys swag. Go get you some hoodies, some sweaters, some socks, whatever it may be, because it's getting cold, man. I don't know what part of the country you guys are in, but it is getting cold around here. You're going to have to go get you some Dega Boys swag to rep through the winter months. All those proceeds obviously go back to help us make bigger and better content for you guys. So thank you guys so much for all of your support as we continue this YouTube grind, this Kick grind, bringing you some of the best motorsports content we possibly can. And who knows what's coming next. So I appreciate you guys so much again for watching. If you guys do agree or disagree with my driver rankings for the 2024 NASCAR season, let me know in the comments below, and make sure you guys maybe leave a comment saying Vegas if you plan on joining the watch party on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. This is Jay with the Dega Boys, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Have a great evening.